I'm so proud of it. When you go to a classical concert, you look at the program, who's coming, who's playing, which symphony. In my case, they don't know, and I don't tell them. They only know when you go to André and his orchestra, you will have an evening you will never forget.
At 76, André Rieu still plays music that makes the world smile. But behind the concerts and applause, his life has been full of pain. Years of touring, illness, and constant pressure have left their mark, even if the audience can't see it.
Money, for me, is freedom. Freedom to do what I have in my mind. Traveling the world with my orchestra.
The violin that once gave him joy now carries the weight of his struggles. And just when it seems he has faced it all, something unexpected threatens to change everything he has built. The man behind the smile, André Rieu, is a name that resonates with joy. Across stadiums, concert halls, and living rooms around the world, his violin sings a language everyone understands. To the public, he is the king of waltz, a man whose energy and grin seem endless, whose music lifts hearts and draws applause in waves. Yet behind the bright lights and the polished smile lies a story that is more complicated than the glittering facade suggests. Born on October 1st, 1949, in Maastricht, Netherlands, André was the third of 6 children in a family steeped in music. His father, Andreas Antonie Rieu, conducted the Maastricht Symphony Orchestra, and his mother instilled discipline and structure in the household. From the moment André could hold a bow, music surrounded him. He heard orchestras rehearsing in his home, watched musicians' hands glide across strings, and felt the pulse of grand compositions beneath his feet. It was a childhood immersed in sound, yet strangely devoid of warmth. Even amid the beauty of music, the atmosphere at home was serious and formal. André often recalled being surprised by the stern quiet of concert halls, the hush that seemed to demand perfection rather than joy. There was little laughter, few spontaneous moments. This contrast planted an early seed of rebellion in him. If music could be so solemn, could it also be free, alive, playful? Could the joy he felt inside translate to the world outside? His most prized possession, a 1667 Stradivarius violin, became more than an instrument. In his hands, it represented both magic and burden. The violin's elegance reflected the heights he could reach, yet it carried the weight of expectation, the pressure to be perfect, and the constant demand to deliver beauty. André learned early that audiences would see only the perfection, never the hours of struggle, the doubts, the aches that accompanied each note. André's music invites millions to dance and smile, yet every smile he offers carries an unspoken question. When the music plays and the audience sways in unison, what is André truly hearing? Let's look back to his early life for the answer. A childhood without warmth. André Rieu's childhood was filled with music, but it was not filled with the warmth many children take for granted. Born the third of 6 children, he grew up in a Catholic household in Maastricht, the Netherlands, with a family whose roots traced back to the Huguenots. The household was orderly and disciplined, with a seriousness that sometimes felt heavy on a young boy's shoulders. Laughter was rare, and emotions were measured. André often felt like an observer rather than a participant in family life, as though he were expected to perform a role rather than simply be himself. From the age of 5, André was immersed in music. His father, Andreas Antonie Rieu, a talented conductor, had high expectations. Practice was rigorous, and mistakes were not just noticed, they were weighed. André recalls the long hours of violin practice, the precise bowing exercises, and the quiet scrutiny of a father whose love seemed expressed more in achievements than in hugs. At school, he sometimes felt out of place. Teachers and classmates did not fully understand the intensity he brought to music, and he remembers moments when he felt like the black sheep, caught between a need to excel and a longing for connection. Even as a young boy, the orchestra fascinated him. He would watch in awe as the musicians' bows moved together in perfect harmony, the sound washing over him like waves. Yet even this beauty had a shadow. The concert hall's silence, the solemnity of the music, and the weight of expectations created an unspoken pressure. André wanted more than the rigid discipline and quiet perfection he observed. He wanted joy, play, and the freedom to feel music rather than just perform it. It was this longing that would shape the way he would later conduct, stage, and play. The early absence of emotional nurture left a mark. It planted a drive within him to create joy, not just for himself, but for others. It created a sensitivity that would influence every performance, every orchestral arrangement, and every audience interaction. The boy who longed for warmth learned to channel longing into art. If the child who could not find comfort at home found it in his violin, let's find out what would happen when the music itself was challenged. Silence, illness, and the fight to stand again. Even the greatest performers face moments when the body reminds them of its limits. For André Rieu, one of those moments came in 2010, when a viral infection of the vestibular nerve struck. The condition caused severe vertigo, making balance uncertain and motion dizzying. For a man whose every step, bow stroke, and flourish is part of his art, this was nothing short of a crisis. Suddenly, the stage, which had always been his sanctuary, became a place of uncertainty and fear. Rumors spread quickly. Some claimed that André was terminally ill, that his days of performing were over. But those were false. The reality was more nuanced and human. His illness revealed vulnerability in a man often seen as unstoppable. The very instrument that had been his ally, the violin, and the body that carried him across stages were now fragile. Every concert was a risk. Every note, a challenge. Recovery was slow and demanded patience, a quality difficult for someone used to action, movement, and control. Rehabilitation exercises, physiotherapy, and careful management of his condition became daily routines. Yet André's spirit refused to yield. Remarkably, an Australian fan who had followed his career claimed that his own exercises helped André regain enough stability to perform again, a testament to the bond between artist and audience. Even in March 2024, during a Mexico City tour, André had to cancel the second concert and the remaining shows due to flu, potential overstrain, and high-altitude challenges. At 74, he faced the reality that the body could no longer always keep pace with his ambitions. Yet, his determination remained unshaken. He approached these setbacks with a mixture of humility and defiance, accepting limitations while refusing to surrender. For a performer whose life is defined by movement, rhythm, and presence, illness was existential. The vertigo, the dizziness, the fear of faltering before an audience, these were not just physical challenges, but emotional ones. André had to learn to listen to his body while maintaining the illusion of effortless joy on stage. Every performance after recovery carried new layers of meaning: gratitude, resilience, and an appreciation for the fragility of life. The struggle shaped him in unexpected ways. He became more aware of his limits, more deliberate in planning tours, and more protective of his health. Yet the music remained, defiant and alive, a bridge between vulnerability and triumph. André learned that even silence has a place in music, that pauses and rests can carry as much weight as melody. When the world grows quiet and the stage lights dim, the question lingers. Will the conductor, whose life is rhythm and bow, still rise to command the orchestra? Or will the emptiness behind the smile finally reveal itself, exposing the human fragility that applause can never mask? Love, legacy, and the final waltz. Through decades of music, tours, and performances, one constant in André Rieu's life has been love. Since 1975, he has been married to Marjorie Kochman, who is far more than a spouse. She is his partner, manager, collaborator, and steadying presence amid the whirlwind of global fame. Together, they built not just an orchestra, but a vision of music that reaches millions. Their home in Maastricht, a castle called De Torrentiet, reflects André's roots and the balance he has maintained between public grandeur and private life. Legacy has always been at the heart of André's work. The Johann Strauss Orchestra continues to flourish, its music alive in countless performances, recordings, and broadcasts. He has inspired a generation of musicians and audiences alike to see classical music not as distant or elitist, but as a living, breathing art meant to bring joy. Children, grandchildren, and thousands of concert-goers carry pieces of his vision forward, with every waltz danced, every note hummed. André's philosophy of music is simple yet profound. He believes music should be accessible, joyous, and unifying. It should break barriers rather than create them. Every concert, every performance reflects that belief. The audience is not just watching, they are part of the experience. André's dedication to creating shared joy is a legacy that transcends recordings, ticket sales, and accolades. It is a testament to the power of art to touch hearts and connect people across continents and generations. As he ages into his mid-70s, the question of the final act looms naturally. What remains when the bow comes to rest and the last note fades? André's life has been a series of crescendos and pauses, victories and struggles, applause and silence. His journey has balanced between the brilliance of the spotlight and the quiet moments behind the scenes where joy was created, doubts were faced, and love was nurtured. The final waltz is not just about endings. It is about the imprint left on the world. André has ensured that the music he loves will outlive him, continuing to touch lives long after the stage lights dim. Yet even with such a remarkable legacy, the human heart cannot help but wonder. The audience may cheer, the orchestra may play, and the world may remember. But when the last curtain falls, will the silence speak louder than any applause? Or will the echoes of joy remain eternal? André Rieu's life is a reminder that greatness is never without cost, that love and passion can shape destiny, and that the music we leave behind is perhaps the most enduring testament to a life fully lived. His story closes not with an end, but with a question that lingers, just like the final notes of a waltz that refuses to fade. What do you think of André Rieu's incredible journey behind the music and the smile? Share your thoughts in the comments below.